Hey everyone, so in this video, I'm just going to show you how to do how to create some simple graphs on Excel. I'm going to start first with the favorite junk food file that I have there, and I'm going to be creating a pie chart and also a bar graph just to show the data here. So first thing is we see that this is going to be a frequency table, but as you see here, it's actually not complete yet. So what we want to do first is we actually want to use a count if function or command on Excel that will make the counting a little bit easier. So instead of us going through this list, and obviously you can see here that there's a lot of data that's listed on here, and counting how many times we see the candy pop up, we can simply use the count if command so we can see what it looks like. We simply write equals count if. We say where we start looking in the cells and where we end. So A1 means over here, and then we simply end at A58. And we are looking for this particular word candy. Now, it's really important that you type it in exactly as is written. So just don't make any spelling errors there, so just to make sure it is actually correct. So let's say I want to count how many times I see ice cream. So instead of me going through this and keeping track and counting how many times I see ice cream, I can use the count if command. So I simply type in count if, and then I put brackets, and you always put an equal sign in front. And I'm going to be counting A1, or I could actually do A2 as well, because really the A1 is just a title there. So I can do A2 to A58, and then I simply put a comma, and then in the quotations, I'm going to be writing down what I'm looking for. So I'm looking for ice cream, and then I close off the brackets, I press enter, and I'm done. So it counted we can see here that ice cream came up 10 times as a favorite food. I'm going to do the exact same thing for the next one. So equals count if, I put the cell that we start at, A2, all the way down to A58. And then I simply put a comma there, and then in quotations, I'm going to write down what I'm looking for. So I'm looking for chocolate, and make sure it's spelled correctly, and then just end the brackets there, and then we see that there's 6. Next one, I'm going to write equals count if, and then I do A2 to A58. And in quotations, I'm going to write brownies, and we end this off. So you can kind of see what's happening here. Just a quick little thing as well. You can also do, because we're actually looking at the whole entire column, we can do A to A. Now, the only thing with that is you may have if you decide to put other commands underneath it, then it may start counting it a little bit off. So you just want to be careful with that, but it should be fine for the most part. So you can write AA, and then we are going to put in brackets chips, and then we close this, and we're done. And then the very last one, count if, and then we can say it's going to be A to A, and then we simply put in quotations cupcakes. So we can see here that this is listing off how many times I have received each of these answers from this survey for favorite junk food. Now, if I want to make a bar graph for this, I simply highlight all the data here. Now, for total, I didn't show how to do that. You can simply add up all the frequencies just to verify it's correct. But I'll just focus on doing the graphs here. So to do the bar graph, I simply go to this symbol here. You can see that there's different types of bar graphs that you can have. This is probably the most basic one you can have, and it's perfectly fine. You might want to change the title as well. So you can change the title here. You can call this favorite junk food students, and you can change this title however you want. And underneath, you can also add titles for the axis. So if you want to add a title for the axis here, I can simply put junk food. This is the junk food the students are picking. And then right here is going to be your frequency, which is basically how many answers you got for each one of them. And that is basically it. So that's how we do a bar graph there. You can also do a circle graph or a pie chart by simply highlighting the same cells there. And then you go to the pie chart right here, and it does it there for you as well. And once again, you can change your title. You can change this to junk food, favorite junk food, and then this is another way of displaying your qualitative data here. So another type of graph that you can have is a histogram. And so I'm going to show you how to do it with this next example. So if you simply, this one's actually a little bit easier. If you highlight all your data here, we are simply going to highlight all the way to the end, and then we go to insert, and then you're going to be looking for the histogram here, and it's done automatically for you. Now, a couple of things. By default, Excel will choose a bin width that it thinks makes the most sense, but it may not actually make the most sense for your data. So in my case, I may not want it to go up by 13. That's a bit of an odd access to have there, but so we can change the scale so that it goes by something that's a bit more reasonable or more to our liking. So what we can do here is we simply click on the x-axis, and then you go to format axis, and then you can specify that you might want, for example, the bin width to be 10 instead. So if you want it to be 10, then it's going to look like this. You can also specify, instead of specifying the bin width, you can specify how many bins you actually want to have. So let's say we only want to have like 8 groups, then it's going to switch it like that. This might not be your preference. I personally prefer just specifying the bin width so that it works out really nicely like that. So it goes by tens. Now keep in mind that if there is a round bracket, that means that we're excluding that value. If it's a square bracket, it means we're including that value in that interval. And then of course, same as before, you can change your title here. So we can say student grades, and then you can see here what the distribution of the grades are. And once again, you can also decide to add an axis title if you prefer. So you can put frequency here, and that is basically it for that. Another option as well, instead of doing a histogram, you can also do a box chart, a box plot, or box and whisker plot, however you want to call it there. And if you simply click, hover over box and whisker plot right there, it will create the graph there for you. And what's really nice about this is it kind of shows you the spread of all the data, and you can actually see what the first quartile is, what the median is, quartile 2, and then you can see what the third quartile is as well. And then if you wanted to know exactly what it is, because I know it's not very accurate there, you can also use the quartile command on Excel. So that's another option there as well. And you can do it either underneath, or you can do it in any space that you have available there. And that is basically it. And for just practice, you can have students try out creating a histogram or doing a box and whisker plot for this set of data here.